Do you ever think about your next move in life or what it takes to hold unwavering, unshakable trust when you choose an ending or a beginning? Especially approaching 40, I found that there were these subtle messages that it's time for reform, stability, retiring our younger selves. But if you've been following along, you know that this space is about the power of reinvention at any and every stage of life, including midlife. You're listening to Woman Wiser, the podcast for women who have outgrown the script, where we talk about identity, well-being, emotional fluency, and midlife reinvention. And today, we're talking about bold moves, unwavering faith, and the evolution of friendships that stand the test of time both in and outside of the group chat. Sometimes the thing we thought we'd never do, the thing we've held on to, that no matter how woven into our identity it feels, releasing it, marking it as an ending, can be the start of everything. It's easy to chase a new beginning, but something that stands true for me and is really illustrated in my conversation today is the power of endings with intention, of choosing wisely, without apology, and trusting ourselves enough to author space that clears the mind and shapes endless possibility. My guest today is currently the host of CityNews 24/7 in Toronto. She is a news anchor, reporter, and long-standing host for the award-winning Breakfast Television. She's covered some of the biggest national and international stories, moderated political debates, anchored Toronto International Film Festival red carpets, and even reported overseas at a royal wedding. She's a teacher, a mother, an actor, and just over 2 years ago, meeting her 40s head-on, at the height of her career, she made a change that no one saw coming. If you haven't guessed it already, we're here with the wise and wonderful Melanie Ng. Let's get into it. Okay, yay, you're here.
I'm here.
You're here. Let me make sure. Okay, my mic is on. I've definitely had those moments where I go to record and my mic is on mute.
No. You're good. You're
Yep.
good.
The realities of waking up early and doing things for the first time. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I think it's finally going to be sunny in San Francisco today, and I have
Oh,
my
good.
tea and I'm cozy.
You do look
Um,
cozy.
I am cozy. Yeah, yeah. I'm excited for us to dive into all things, and we have some history and a long, so there's
Ooh.
so many things we could get into today, but there's one question I wanted to kind of kick off with
Oh
because
boy.
this is
Okay.
the one I've been wondering. It's been on my mind, Mel. Just how many friend group chats are you actually in?
That's really funny. Are you talking about like WhatsApps?
Like the WhatsApp chats, the group
Oh,
chats.
okay, about a gajillion. And I
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so funny. I don't know why you asked me this because I thought about this the other day. I was trying to like delete some chats. I'm like, but I can't because every once in a while people will comment in there, so I got to stay there. If I were to guess, it's probably like 20 different group chats.
Okay, that has to be a record.
Do you think?
I
I just
We're gonna find out. Anyone who's listening in the comments, like, drop in the number of group chats you're in. Let's see if anyone has Mel beat, because I really don't think that they will.
I love lots of different circles. That's why, and they're
Yeah.
all different kinds of conversations. And sometimes I have screwed up my group chats and I've sent to the wrong group. I know we've all done
Oh,
that.
yes.
It's very awkward because it has zero context, and people are like, "What are you talking about?" But it's always entertaining. So maybe I should skim down a little bit. Maybe this is my message.
So anyone listening, are you gonna be the group to go? Are you
Oh,
gonna see that Mel has left the group chat?
has left the conversation. Shoot. Oh, I'm
I
so
hope it's
sorry.
not ours.
No, never at the top. No way. Never.
Oh, funny. Well, it definitely might be a record, and it's actually got me thinking a little bit too, because friendships really change in the 30s and 40s. So it's really impressive that you have that many circles on the go all at once.
Yeah, it is actually crazy because when you look back to if I were to dive deep into who are the people in those chats, You've got
Hmm.
people, I do have like some high school girlies. I've got a lot of different university group people. I've got some work people. I've got some neighborhood people, some mom chats, some sports chats, all these sports parents from the
Sports chats. Oh,
Yes, it's
the
because
kids' sports
my son,
teams.
yeah, because of my son is on a number of sports teams, and so they individually have different chats, and then there's splinter groups, like, and there's like the mums of the baseball team, and so anyway, the long and the short being is that it's always fun, but yeah, friendships evolve. Like we've known each other for over 20 years, right?
Yes.
Because we got the
Yeah,
20-year university graduation reunion email. Did you
we
get that?
did. I
Ugh,
did. And
pretty
then
wild.
I'm can't tell the story about how we first met and
Why not, Sikin? Why?
because it's PG-13.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
Okay, I got you.
It was definitely summer between first and second year, and I think it was a summer, one of the summers of Mel. There were multiple summers of Mel.
I do love the seasons, specifically summer. Things happen and they're
Things
fun.
happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was on some sort of retreat with a lot of university people. Let's just leave it there.
And it was fun, and
Yeah.
then we hit it off right out of the gates because we honestly, I think you and I connect on so many different levels, which is why this relationship still exists in
Yeah.
its form. And even, we live in completely different places and have been for some time too. And I like that we can always come back and pick up where we left off. As soon as I saw your face come on screen for this recording, I went, there you are. Ah. It was very
I
exciting
know.
just to see your face. So, yeah, we go back. We go back. So we can talk about pre-career, where we are today, and all the evolution because it's been a lot.
Yeah, it has.
Mm.
And it still is kind of a lot because I was thinking back to sitting in your backyard 2.5, 3 years ago, and you were like, okay, I'm ready to make this big move for myself in my career and in my family. And the question wasn't, am I going to do it? Was how am I going to do it?
Yeah, it was for a lot of people when I told them it was a bold move. I worked for the number one morning show in Canada as their news anchor.
Hmm.
And that's, for anyone in the industry, that is like right at the top of the game, right? Like why would you ever leave that job? That is the position that people strive for. And it's the
Yeah.
position I strived for, right? Like, me, when I got into the industry, I had some big goals. And to be honest, I didn't think I'd get there as fast as I did. But um, something changed. And I think the pandemic changed a lot of things for so many
Mm.
people. It changed priorities, put things into perspective, where I wanted to put my time, my mind, my body, my soul, all of it. And I have a now 9-year-old. That blows my mind, but he's now 9. But at the time, so let's say 3 years ago, he was 5, 6. And I just felt like I was missing things. I was missing a lot, like, I was missing the walks to school because I worked on a morning show, so I was never there in the
Hmm.
morning to, have a chit-chat when he got out of bed and to walk to school, and I felt like that was gone, and when I'd get home and he'd get home from school, I was so tired. I was so exhausted, both
Hmm.
physically and mentally, that I didn't have the patience, and I didn't have the care for myself either, to be quite honest. Like, I wasn't taking care, I wasn't working out, I wasn't doing any of that. I was just existing on fumes and caffeine, to be quite
Hmm.
honest with you. Now
Because you were up
from
at like
I
2
was
in the
up at
morning to go to work.
Yes, yes, like 2:30 was my wake up, and I would go in there, and don't get me wrong, I loved what I did, but I think I was just on overdrive, and it got to a point where I thought, "I don't know how much longer I can do this because I'm not filling any of my cups right now. I'm just having sips of everything." You know what I mean?
Mm.
My husband Scott, who you know very well, uh, he was traveling quite a bit for work, and it was just this juggle. I said, I'm gonna, as you were talking about that conversation in the backyard, I'm gonna make a big change, and this might this might shock some people. And I resigned, and I'd say it was the best decision that I ever made because I never look back and say, "Oh, I missed that." There was never FOMO there. But if we were to go back in that time machine when we chatted, Sicken, and I'm like, okay, here's what I'm doing. I Yeah, I was nervous. I didn't know what was to come, but it's one of those moments where you're like, I'm so glad I did it.
Change we choose can be challenging, but one of the things that you did is that you really architected this new space for yourself. So now you're you're hosting, you're a journalist, you're a podcaster, you are an actor.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Do you ever get a kick out of
So
seeing that
fun.
every once in a
Yeah,
while?
I think I sent you a screenshot when I saw you on Ginny and Georgia, that
Wait,
last episode.
which is hilarious. I mean, like, to be
It was
fair,
amazing.
I never think of myself as an actor though, because I always play a news anchor or a reporter in these shows. So it's like I'm acting in the format of that, but I'm still delivering it the way I would deliver it as
Yeah.
Melanie Ng. So I always feel the imposter syndrome when I get on a set. I've done
Mm.
maybe a dozen of these like films or commercials or TV shows. When I looked at my resume, I'm like, whoa, I've done all of these. But to me, it always felt like I was just playing a report. I was delivering lines the way I would deliver them. So I always find it hilarious when someone's like, "Oh, you're an actor?" I'm like, "No, I am a reporter in the body of an actor today." That's
You
kind
get to
of
play yourself.
maybe, yeah, which is really hilarious.
I love it. Stepping away from a massive career, it requires a degree of trust. Or where does that trust and that faith come from for you?
I think it's I think sometimes like everyone else, I still have that doubt and I still walk into rooms where I think, am I supposed to be in this room? Should I be pitching myself this way? Should I be positioning my experience in this manner? And so I have all of those same doubts that everyone has. I think what you need to bank on is to look at what you've completed. There's so much that I have to offer. So the trust comes from me looking at what I've done, but just seeing the changes that I've made that have been successful, knowing what I've done in the past, what has succeeded, what has failed, and knowing that I will be okay on the other end no matter. I don't know how far we're going to get into the depths of our relationship sick, but we lived together. Like in our
Yes.
20s, we had some fun times
Roommates.
living in the heart of Toronto in the neighborhood they call Young and Eligible.
Yes. If you know it, you know.
If you know, you know. And we were both young and bright eyed and starting our careers. And look at where we are now. It's very different, right?
And it was funny because right after I think it was a few weeks after you moved out, you called me and you're like, we have to go for sushi. And you were like, I'm leaving PR to
Oh my
be
gosh.
a journalist. And then
Ah,
you started in
the chopper. Oh
the
my gosh.
chopper.
Because yeah, you have seen me through a lot of transition. That's wild. You've seen me through all the phases because yeah, I remember I loved working in public relations. I thought this was like the thing,
That
my
was it.
future. In that moment in my life, something didn't feel right. Like it didn't feel like the exact fit for me. And I always
Hmm.
loved media, right? And remember,
Hmm.
I just thought, and I think at the time we would have been what, like mid-20s, I think is when,
26, 20, yeah, 25,
yes,
26.
something in that window.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, if I don't do it now, when am I ever going to do it? And then when am I going to have the guts to do this? And so,
Hmm.
yeah, I made that shift and went back to school. And the chopper that you're referring to, my first broadcasting gig out of the gates, I did traffic and breaking news from a helicopter every day. That got me to a videographer job, which got me to an anchoring gig, which started in a Hamilton, and then it got me into the Toronto market. So it all has its place. It all just lines up and it works out, and it goes back to what we talked about. Things will just they'll work themselves out. So
Yeah.
so far so good.
So a lot of trust, a lot of faith, but also a lot of following the path that feels like is really authentically yours. And that doesn't happen on a timeline. It happened when you were 25 and it's happening now when you're 40.
Yeah, and it's something else is going to be happening again, which you know, Sikin, but it's not public knowledge yet. But something new and exciting is en route for me and my family as well. So we're gonna pivot again. I'm pumped. I'm pumped for change, and it's very anti Taurus of me. I'm a Taurus,
Mm.
and I remember someone told me, here are the characteristics of a Taurus. You know, the bull, which is stubborn but loyal, like all these different things. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. And then I remember someone said to me, and they fear change. And I said, no, we do not. I do not fear change because I was in denial. And
Mhm.
in the back of my head, I'm like, of course I fear change. Oh my gosh.
Well, there's another part of you that is, like, wise to the circumstance and rises to the circumstance.
Oh,
So,
you're so sweet. You're
that's the
so
part
sweet.
that you're channeling. And we
Yeah.
have to figure out what your rising sign is because that probably has something to do with
Oh
it.
my goodness, you're so good at all of this. I know nothing about any of it. I barely knew I was a Taurus. So
Okay, we'll figure it out.
thank
We'll
you.
figure I
Please help
barely
me.
knew I was a Taurus. I love that. Well, so okay, so and then being public figure has been, I guess, almost half your life at this point.
Yeah. Being in front of the public eyes, it is amazing because sometimes, you walk through a grocery store and people will stop you because they feel like they know you. You were in their living rooms
Mm,
and there's the positive side and you connect. And I really love that aspect of the job. The other part of it, though, the public eye is that you're always going to be criticized. Everything you wear, let's say your eyeshadow looks weird, your dress is unflattering, whatever it is that someone feels like they're going to comment. And in this digital age, they are all out there. Nobody's afraid. So they'll say and type whatever it is that they want to type without any repercussion. I have called out some people. Um,
I
and
remember.
often, yeah, often when I find that I do engage, most people will back off because they don't think you're actually reading those comments and seeing it. One thing
Mhm.
that you're probably referring to when you say, "Oh, I remember it," it was this one video that went viral. It's kind of crazy. We did this fun little, I think it was like a TikTok or an Instagram video for Breakfast Television, and we all were kind of like singing, dancing. I guess the dress that I was wearing, or my figure, who cares, made it appear that I was pregnant, according to a number of people online. And they were not shy about saying, not just, "Hey, are you pregnant?" I had people say, "Congratulations," like an outright congratulations. So they were that
Was
confident
so
that,
shocking.
and to confirm I was not pregnant at the time. So, we acknowledged it. We talked about it on air. One of my colleagues, Tracy Moore, who's Canadian media icon, said something to me, and she's like, "Whatever," and she said, "Think about this. Whatever you think about my body is none of my business." And I love that because it's
I love it.
true. Especially for me, that was a big one because I have been very outspoken. I struggled with infertility for years. And so
Mhm.
comments like that actually have a different weight with me because for so long I wanted to be pregnant and I couldn't. It couldn't happen. Now we eventually got pregnant via IVF, which was, honestly, this, a miracle because we didn't think it was going to happen. But these sorts of comments sit on me in a different way. But even if you didn't go through that, it still is something that as women, for us to have to always be commenting and acknowledging statements about our bodies is it's tiring. It really is.
Yeah.
It's tiring. I don't think we need to be doing that anymore. I'm sorry, this is a very long answer, but it's
No,
just
this is this is
it.
so important to so many people. Like, people go through this in their daily lives,
Mhm.
and you didn't just weather it, you got it in front of it,
Yeah,
and you
and I
said
think
something.
yeah, and I think I had to because for
Yeah.
me it didn't feel right to just sit there. I got a lot of
Yeah.
those as soon as we got married. When are you having kids? Meanwhile, here we are several years into, IVF, IUI, these sorts of fertility treatments that people didn't know. Again, the malicious thought not being there, but just the thought not being there.
Mm. There's more access to people, and
Yeah,
I think on some level, a little bit more solitude or maybe a more comparison because we live in this comparison age, where
totally.
it's forced upon us. We bear that with our image, our physical appearance. And, and yeah, it becomes a very, very cyclical thing.
It really does. And it's like I'm big on, so I grew up, I had three older brothers. And so I didn't grow
Hmm.
up with the female empowerment, like girls helping girl, like, so I did with the friendship groups, but I didn't have that in my household. And um I've evolved into that. Like I've seen how powerful, especially friendships like with yours, Sick, is like seeing how important having strong, encouraging women around you makes a difference, right? Like it
Hmm.
truly makes a difference. And people who are cheering for you in the rooms that you're not in, people who are cheering for you when you are not at the top of your game, because those are the people. that truly make a difference. And so for me and for you, like you're exactly one of those people that I think these are the voices that need to be amplified. We need to be getting behind women, our friends, and those people we don't even know too, that just women face so many different criticisms and it's just not okay. It's tiring and it's not okay.
What would you say to someone who's kind of going through that right now based on, your experience, what you went through internally during moments like that, and how you got in front of it and how you moved past it?
I think the biggest thing is that, listen, we've all been through it. And
Yeah.
so when you get these types of comments and these types of criticisms, know you're not alone and that your voice will make a difference. And it does matter because as soon as you speak up about something you've been through, know that there is a group, even if it's virtual or digital, they are behind you. They're huddling right there behind you. And so don't be afraid to say something. Don't be afraid to speak up for yourself, to stand up for yourself, and to stand up for other people at the same time who might be going through it. Make sure you're there on that side too, because we've all been through it and we all need to stop this. We need to stop this sort of behavior. So don't be afraid to say something because, girl, we're all there. We're all there with you.
We're all there with you. Hopefully, we can grow this community as well to be a place where people can at least listen to some of these stories and experiences and take away some wisdom to use in their own life.
Totally. I think it's sometimes I go back into my brain and say, did I ever say anything to someone where I would have
Oh,
regretted
yeah.
it? And the answer is 100%. Because here's the thing, no one's perfect. We are all still learning. And sometimes we say things and we don't mean it that way, but it'll get interpreted a
Mhm.
certain way. So all it takes really is thought, right? To sit back and go, if I'm the person, I'm not the receiving end person, I'm the one saying whatever I'm saying. Do you go backward and apologize for it? And I have. I have realized that I've said some things that I didn't think were inappropriate in the moment, and I've pulled some
Mm.
people aside. I said, "I don't know if you remember this moment, but it has sat with me."
How did they receive that?
Yeah, I think for one person, they didn't even know what I was talking about.
Oh, wow.
And then the other person was like, "You know what? I appreciate that." Like, I don't know if they held a
Mm.
grudge, but they just said, "I appreciate that." And that's totally cool.
There's so much power in accountability, and I
Mhm.
really I really believe that, because when we can strip away, like, the ego, when we can strip away, that history, we can actually move forward with so much more depth,
It is.
and knowing that we've hurt someone, it is heavy,
Mhm.
but it changes us in such a tremendous way to be able to say, "I've acknowledged this, I'm taking accountability." And not just for my past actions, but how I wanna be in the future and who I wanna be in the future.
Totally. And let me point out, both of those scenarios were both to women. Two different
Mm.
things I said to two different women. And it also speaks to the female relationship, and that both were so receptive is like, okay, here we are together. Okay, here we are. We've got this.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that we get to catch up, but also share stories and just chat like
Normal
normal times.
people, good times, good times. I want to ask you all the questions, and I can I ask you questions too? This is your
Absolutely.
show, but I want to see where you're at because I've seen you through so many different phases too, as we've talked
Mhm.
about. And you're in a really cool space. Like you've moved again to another city. Um,
Mhm.
What's it been like for you in finding your tribe and in finding your group? Because we've always kind of had this group, this foundation here. How do you find your tribe in the places that you go to? Because you are such an outgoing person, but it's easy for all of us to just go curl in a ball and just envelop ourselves in our own work and in our, our own personal lives. So how did you find it, or are you still in search of?
Yeah, I think I'm a Capricorn, so I'm also stubborn, I'm also loyal, but I can be outgoing, but Capricorns can also be a little bit more contained. But I think when we were living in Portland for 2 years, I wasn't going into a workplace, I was working from home. We had a couple of friends, and so that friend kind of like introduced us to our group, and then I had to put myself out there to meet people. So I remember we went for this wine dinner, and I just started speaking to the person next to me, and we just started having conversation. We end up in this very deep, profound conversation about our life, and then here we are today. We're still friends. She's coming to visit in a couple of weeks. So it wasn't like a tribe, a huge tribe of people, the way that we know it, coming from Laurier, where we were a group of 50 to 100 people.
Right. Small group. Yeah.
Just a small group. But it was small tribes and close connections. And then here in San Francisco, speaking of staying in touch with friends for a long time, I have a former colleague, now good friend, from almost, let's call it 2012, 2013. And we were cubicle mates. We sat beside each other. She lives here in San Francisco, and we have reconnected, and that has been
Oh,
super fun. And we've met people along the way. And so that it's really just about putting yourself out there, not having these high expectations. And I also do have my people. Like
yeah.
even though I live somewhere else, they're still my people.
You know what I always think about is it's like outside of your partner, if you were to if you needed bail and you who are you calling?
Oh my
Right?
God, I'm
Okay, so
calling you.
let's pretend it's not family and it's
Yeah.
not your partner. I always think about that. I don't know if it's a
That's
weird
such an
way to
interesting thought.
like and you get let's say you get 3 calls. Who are you calling? And I in my head, and I love that you said you don't need this big circle. You don't, because it is about quality versus quantity. But at the end of the day, who's bailing you out? Because if you can't name 3 people that will do that for you, or at least find the money for you, maybe they don't have the bail money, but they're gonna get it. They're
They're at
gonna
least willing
get
to
it.
pick up the call. They're
They'll at
willing
least
to accept the charges.
they'll accept the charges. Listen, and we are not in legal trouble, anyone, but but I always think about this is what goes through my mind, and I'm like, if I can't rely on those 3 people, then I need to reevaluate the friendships and everything. So I love that you've put yourself out there and you were intentional with it too. I think
Mm,
that's scary. And it goes very full circle about what we were talking about at the top of your show about friendships and how they've evolved and just changing in our mid 40s, right?
yeah.
Like if you want to have a new friend in your 40s, you've got to have that conversation over wine.
Absolutely. And now there's apps for that,
Yeah.
and things that you can do. I didn't jump onto those when I sort of just went that old school authentic,
Yeah, the person, the
put my
face to
face out in
face.
front of someone, maybe
Oh
more
my
vulnerable, I
gosh.
actually think, because you can get rejected.
Real question. Have you been vulnerable, put yourself out there, started the conversation or the chat or whatever, and then been rejected? And how?
I think, oh, yes. My first day of work here in San Francisco, first day walking into the tower, I didn't know anyone, and I went into the kitchen and I saw someone standing there, and so I just struck up a conversation. Hey, it's
Yeah.
my first day here. I think I said something like, "Is it always this quiet around here?" Or something, very casual, and the person looked up at me and then looked down at their phone and just kept
No.
texting, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, but at the end of the day, too, it's anyone who you want to have a relationship will be the person that
Yeah,
answers, "Yeah, man, it's always quiet." And then,
absolutely.
right? So it, it's like, so you like stuff? It's
Right?
very much that conversation. Like,
It was that
ah.
conversation. I was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna rewind and back up, and we're gonna start over. Wipe the slate clean."
You know what though? You can laugh about it now though, which is hilarious because maybe they were they in the middle of something? Who knows, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I think you can't take those things personally, and you
no.
also can't judge the other person. Maybe they just don't want any new friends, okay?
You know what?
I
And that's
mean,
fine, but
I don't know.
I used to be honest with you, I used to be of that mentality. I'm like, I have enough friends, like I don't need to make new friends. Problem is that as we change,
Mhm.
what our interests are different, the way we see life. So I think we have to view new friendships that way too. It's like, well, listen, I'm changing. Me, 2022 is different from me, 2025, and it's going to be different Mel 2030s.
Absolutely. Even if you evolve as people and you change, if that emotional connection can keep you tied,
Yep.
but the values aligning is what keeps your friendship going. Because if that value alignment isn't there and you have nothing in common, that's when we start to feel that shift of like, this doesn't feel right for me anymore. And we
Yeah.
start to feel that little bit of a breakdown, I think.
But yeah. Yeah, no, I'm so glad this friendship is here, and I'm so glad I'm gonna call you when I'm in jail.
Please do. I will answer the collect call.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. If something in this conversation stirred something within you, just pause with it. Let it breathe. Woman Wiser is a space for reflection, reinvention, and remembering who you are beyond the script. So if this episode spoke to you, consider sharing it with someone who's navigating their own bold move or quiet ending. And tap follow to tune in every Sunday for more conversations that honor the lived, the layered, and the wise.